The Airbus A380, a marvel of engineering in the aviation world. It is also the world's largest commercial plane, with several high-ranking airlines flying them, one being British Airways, which currently has 12 A380s at their disposal, even after the pandemic due to the rebound in aviation travel. But did you know, years ago, BA wanted an additional 6 A380s to join its fleet? Why didn't it happen? Let's find out. Welcome back to GlobeTrotting. Do subscribe if you are new for lots more analysis across this month. British Airways is the United Kingdom's flag carrier and operates a network primarily focusing in on its hub at London Heathrow, with a smaller operation out of London Gatwick. British Airways' focus on London Heathrow, which has been running at capacity for years, gives the carrier an appetite for larger aircraft. Let's recap the fleet real quick before we get into the A380. As of early October 2022, they have a fleet of 259 planes, comprising of the A320ceo and neo family, the A350-1000, Boeing 777, Boeing 787, and 12 units that are the A380. These Airbus A380s will typically fly on BA's most popular routes, like your Johannesburg, Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, Dallas-Fort Worth, even Vancouver sometimes. However, throughout the pandemic, their A380s were grounded, and they are still recovering from the said pandemic, being though one of the airlines that strongly marked its intent to always welcome the type back, unlike some other airlines that were very reluctant initially, while we even have some nowadays that are still reluctant to embrace said plane back despite demand levels growing. The A380 is Airbus's largest commercial aircraft product to date, and overall the largest commercial airliner in the world. It can carry up to, if you wanted, 853 passengers in an all-economy configuration, suitable for Ryanair. But in reality, most A380s seat more around the 400 to 500 passengers, with British Airways' A380s seating 469 in total. British Airways in 2019, through the International Airlines Group CEO Willie Walsh at the time, saw them announce their interest in leasing another 6 units of the world's largest passenger plane into their fleet. But why? Here is the most likely reasons as to why their interest in the world's largest commercial aircraft was there, but also faded at the same time. One likely reason why we saw British Airways want further A380s is the situation at London Heathrow. The airport is running at pretty much full capacity, especially pre-pandemic. Slots were therefore rare and becoming very expensive, with a slot at the airport during a prime time going in the tens of millions of pounds. Therefore, if British Airways wanted to keep busy at Heathrow, it needed to expand in some way. However, instead of flying more flights, what they were going to be able to do was deploy an A380 and have a slot flown on another route. For example, its Los Angeles flights years back. It served up to 3 times daily with the 747 and went down into 2 daily A380 flights. British Airways still has roughly the same number of seats despite a minor schedule change, and the 3rd daily slot at Heathrow can be used for another service. With at Heathrow, we witnessed the most recent summer various restrictions imposed on passenger numbers and, of course, the staff shortage debacle. It's resulted in the UK sector of the aviation scene being a very intriguing one to witness develop. Next, the price not being right. Even though there was the need for additional Airbus A380s, British Airways eventually turned them down, since the price was not suitable to them. The IAG CEO Willie Walsh was quoted as saying, "If we get the right price, 6 more Airbus A380s will make sense." But it ended up not working out and being too expensive for them. The second-hand market for so many aircraft programs is just so crucially important. It's a key reason as to why we see so many aircraft fly for close to 30 years right around the world. Now, granted, they may not spend the 30 years with the primary carrier, but the likelihood of them going down to another airline, whether it be smaller or more in a niche market, is very, very high. We've seen this take place with the 737 and the A320 family very frequently in the past couple of years. Also, an honourable mention for the 747. For the world's largest passenger plane, the A380, well, that second-hand market has never really existed. While we did see Hi-Fly acquire a lone A380, that no longer flies with the company for various reasons. The Airbus A380s that have been retired by their customers have either gone to the graveyard or for scrapping of parts. It's an unfortunate fate for an aircraft that in reality is not very old, But it does highlight how British Airways were really the only company vocally interested in bringing additional second-hand A380s on, at the right price. But as we stated earlier, that price simply couldn't be agreed upon, and eventually they walked away. BA, though, and the A380 share a common goal of connecting passengers worldwide, with the two companies, of course, developing a shared bond over the years. Sadly, the bond will never expand with additional 380s, with the double-decker aircraft production ceasing, and in addition, the airline ruling out any possibility of, say, seeing other A380s eventually join on, those potentially being second-hand ones coming from Emirates, who, as we know, like to keep their fleet age very much down. What are your thoughts? Do you believe British Airways should have acquired additional A380s, or did they dodge a bullet? Of course, this taking place, the interest taking place right before the pandemic, potentially bringing on further A380s right before then, could have been absolutely disastrous for their business. You can let us know down below. Thanks very much for watching a video here on GlobeTrotting. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.